Hi, my name is Jeremy. I'm a targeted individual here in Connecticut, and today is December 26, 2016, and I've decided to take my New Year's resolution, which is to start a vlog about my experience as a target, and basically, well, start on it a couple of days early. A brief explanation of my situation, basically a distillation of this madness that I find myself at the center of, is that basically I'm being used by a group of people. I'm being used by a cyber mob who have created a system which is both a tool for social control and the ultimate pastime for the masses. Now, throughout my vlog, I'm going to be trying to explain what I mean by that. My reasons for starting this vlog are, there's only 2 or 3 of them, but the first one is that 2016 has been particularly rough for me. I think it's because my life kind of was following this arc. I had been homeless for a couple of years, and things were really looking up for me. And I guess, part of the reason why it's been so rough is because I kind of felt like I was on an upward slope, in this journey from homelessness back to, a roof over my head and traveling and, a new job, for a real job for the first time in a number of years. But unfortunately, my abusers, the cyber mob, responded to these positive changes by ramping up their campaign, which basically set off a chain of events. Needless to say, at the moment I find myself completely stripped of any of the emotional support that I might have built up over those few years homeless. And a decent part of this vlog is going to be dedicated to looking at this kind of arc that was going on from about the beginning of 2015 through to about the summer of 2016 this year. And partly as a way of kind of understanding what it is that happened, but also a way of demonstrating how this ultimate form of abuse really works, and how it's not as simple to deal with this as you might think it is. Because you're dealing with a group of people that have found this activity, this pastime, which is something that they love so much, and it gives them so much satisfaction, and that there are so many social benefits that they just won't stop doing it. And they will always find ways to continue. And I guess one of my biggest frustrations is not dealing with my abusers, but dealing with society, which is constantly enabling them, making excuses for them, and basically blaming me for their behavior as if they have no free will, and as if they're spending so many hours of their free time, in this pastime, this ultimate pastime, because I'm somehow making them do it. Another reason why I wanted to start this vlog is, since this summer, the abuse and harassment has taken kind of a dark turn in some new directions, and especially in the electronic sense, which has really upset me. And I figure, well, since this has kind of escalated to the point where I'm now being punished and retaliated against constantly and in the most aggressive and often sadistic ways for everything that I say and do and think, I figure, since I'm going to be punished and retaliated against and persecuted anyway, why not put it online? So in other words, uh, you know, it's reached a point where, if I were to spend 15 minutes, scratching something into my journal, you know, there would be all kinds of things that are going to be triggered by that. All kinds of, thanks to this madness, and the way that it operates, uh, you know, they basically are trying to make you eat your words, even if you're making the most mundane observation. They're going to have some sadistic or cruel way to pay you back for that. And I just figure, okay, so I might as well take notes, have a journal, so to speak, but put it on the internet where at least I'll feel like, I'm not just suffering in silence because, I wrote something in my notebook, or I took audio notes while I was hiking and now they've, done something to my car, or, whatever it is. So that's the second reason I'm starting this. The third one is, recently I was reading yet another one of these stories about a bully side, the suicide brought on by bullying, and of course it always makes you sad, but having been through what I've been through, I was sad thinking about and knowing, based on personal experience, all of the things that, the person in that situation went through, feeling like I knew probably many of the exact reasons why someone would choose to hurt themselves or end their own life. And so I just figured that's what I want to do. I want to talk about those things, I guess what I'm trying to say is, a news report comes on and people kind of either they ignore it or they'll say a couple of sentences about it. Oh, that's terrible. Increasingly in our culture, we're pretty insensitive towards victims of any kind of abuse, not just bullying, workplace mobbing, or community-wide harassment, where we seem to be increasingly, uh, cold towards victims of this type of abuse. And so I think that it would be a good thing to try to talk about and to document all of those little things, the cumulative abuse, the way that, especially now thanks to social media, abusers can create basically an all-encompassing form of abuse to the point where everything in your environment is reminding you of all of the cruel things that they have done to you over months or even years. I also would like to devote time to what I think is a very neglected issue, whether it's in, whether you're talking about targeted individuals, so-called Gangstalking, Cointelpro 2.0, MK Ultra, whatever it happens to be. I think something that is very, very overlooked. Just like in school bullying, you always hear about targets and bullies. You never hear about the most important element, the rest of the kids in that school. Or in workplace mobbing, you never hear about, well, if there's 30 employees in a company and, you've got 3 ringleaders and a workplace mobbing target, what about all those other employees? Because that workplace mobbing could not be what it is without the rest of those employees either, cheering it on or looking the other way. And so I think, I'd like to try, obviously, I don't have the professional expertise to do so, but I do have many years of directly dealing with people whose behavior is often dramatically affected by the cyber mobs that they belong to as part of these targeting programs. And so I think it's important to spend some time to try to understand why is it that these people do what they do. Why is it that, because contrary to popular belief, numerically speaking, it's impossible for every participant in these evil programs to be a sociopath or to be a narcissistic abuser. The vast majority of the millions of people in America alone who are now participants, at the very least as spectators in this online sport, you know, these people basically, you can't just use a label like sociopath to kind of dismiss them. You know, just like in Nazi Germany, you couldn't say that of Nazi Germany, the whole population, every single one of them was a sociopath. It's just not true. Numerically speaking, then as now, the majority of participants are completely normal, good-hearted human beings, and that's what makes it so important to try to understand why they're doing what they do, and why they're joining in, and why they're not stopping it. I'm aware that, no one important to me in my life is going to be watching these videos, nor will they try to want to understand what I have to say. I'm also aware of the fact that these videos are going to be used against me very aggressively, as always, that while ignored by those important to me, the people from the cyber mobs, which are centered around me, are going to be mining these videos for sound bites, memes, fails, clips, edits, so that they can, post these on their private social media sites where my abuse is coordinated. But at the end of the day, I'm okay with that, because after everything I've been through, I've truly at this point got nothing left to lose. Because whatever I had left to lose, I guess I lost it since this summer. And it would be wrong of me not to at least try to get this stuff out there and to speak my mind and to at least share, with anyone who cares to listen, the things that I've learned about human nature and about people from being at the center of this pure madness. Right now, no one in our society will dare to speak out against what is happening today. None of the now millions of bystanders and or enabling spectators. There is no one who dares to stand up to the watchers. There is no one who watches the watchers. So that's what I've got to do, and that's what we've got to do as targeted individuals. So in this series of vlogs, I'm going to be watching them and holding them accountable, and especially their minions and goons accountable. I'm going to be watching the watchers, and I hope you'll join me as I do that.